How to Train Your Useless Dragon by Mika Crispy on AO3. Chapter 22. How to Be Who You Are. Being a dragon is quite a paradoxical thing to be. It's living in Enril. How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Useless Dragon by Mika Crispy on AO3. Chapter 22. How to Be You. Being a dragon is quite a paradoxical thing to be. It's living in an eternal threshold of existence, part animal, instinctive, and chaos, part high resonating being, logic, and structure, part magic, mythical, and supernatural. The point is, these things are always a war inside a dragon. They deny one another and fight for dominance in every moment of a dragon's life. As a society, the dragon tries to follow their more rational side. They have a political hierarchy based on clear and objective prerequisites. The most of these requirements are about the denial of their animal sides and control of their magic sides. However, at the same time, their daily routines are constructed around their instinctual needs, and their social standings are determined by their magical aspiration. It truly makes no sense. But dragons live in this paradoxical way without questioning it. Watching from the outside, one would think that they're just fine like that, thriving in the lack of coherence. Shoto, however, had learned that it is not true from a very young age. His mother was a very special dragon. What made her stand out was her overwhelming connection with her magic style. Ri lived and breathed magic. It came from her in waves without even trying. It was a wonderful sight to see when Shoto was a wepling. Flowers bloomed around her mother. The birds danced over her head, and the very air seemed to sparkle when she smiled, and the woman could make the wind take on every color of the rainbow. Shoto has never seen any dragon be able to do that, ever. And he hasn't seen his mother do that either, in years. It was considered very inappropriate, unseemly, for a full-grown dragon to not be able to control her magic. It was even more unsuited for the mate of an elder to do that. There was a great deal of pressure for his mother to suppress her magical abilities, most of it coming from Endeavor himself. Shoto's father is stern and demanding man who doesn't accept the fact that All Might is still the first elder, while Endeavor holds the second place. And the ruthless man had come to the conclusion that he could never surpass All Might, because its mate was a mess. The years of stress and mental abuse took their toll on Ray's health. She got severely depressed. Her magic wilted, as did the life in her eyes as well. It had been years since his mother was able to perform any kind of magic at all. Her survival instincts are non-existent, and she's just a shell of the dragon she used to be. Growing up while watching this made Shoto begin to question if their society really was right, if denying so many parts of themselves to fit in the mold of what a dragon should be really was the best for all dragons. Being Endeavor's son, and training to be a young elder himself, made Shoto stay mostly away from the other dragons his age. He was left alone, ruminating about his mother and his father, and his place in dragon society. What took Shoto out of his depressing loneliness was a little green dragon, with a dream too big and a heart even bigger. Izuku doesn't fit in any kind of mold of what a dragon should be. He's very instinctual, extremely emotional, loves to learn new abilities, and can't control the abilities he was born with for the life of him. He's the opposite of every single thing Shoto was trained to be right. And yet, Shoto has never met a dragon better than Izuku. His heart makes people flock around him inadvertently, and his will to help everyone goes way beyond anything Shoto has ever seen. That's how Shoto came to know how so many of the dragons were misfits in their own way. Hitoshi with his quirk that scares people away, and his wish to understand magic. Tenya with his incapability of understanding instincts, Su, who makes friends with sea creatures, most dragons would consider food, Ochako, who has a social closeness needed that greatly surpassed any other dragons, and that's just to name a few. Since meeting them, Shoto has seen all his friends struggle with who they are in order to fit in with what they're supposed to be. Every one of them loses a little of themselves in this process, and that made Shoto realize that their whole society loses with that too. Having noticed that, Shoto decided that he'd be an elder, but not to reinforce the mold, to break it. He wants to help people understand that everything that makes a dragon stand out helps their society be better, more complete and richer. Maybe it was an oversight from Shoto. However, he never expected humans to be part of the solution to dragon society. Alright, you half and half. I'm gonna hide you in the stables until you decide to go back to where you're from and leave us alone. Katsuki grumbles when they separate from the other duels. I need to formally introduce myself to your king, Shoto explains, as if he's talking to a child. It is rude to enter someone's territory without asking for permission. You need fucking permission to enter, but not to fucking burn down the village? The blonde asked sarcastically. Ain't you fucking polite? Exactly. I still can order an attack on every dragon on the archipelago over the settlement, so it'll be wise for you not to mock our traditions, Bakugo. You fucking asshole. Just you try. I'm gonna skin you alive. You're gonna... The human barks and snarls at him. Shoto decides to just keep walking towards the human village. He can't miss the opportunity of understanding how the human society organizes itself. Shoto has always heard humans are ruled entirely by emotions, and how dangerous that makes them. He had never really questioned that, but now it seems like a great oversight on his part. Izuku is ruled mostly by his emotions, and Shoto has always appreciated that on his friend. Now that he thinks about it, maybe the humans aren't so wrong. That is, if the humans really are following their emotions. Somehow Shoto doubts that. He'd seen a couple of their books before. No creature would have ever created that code of drawing language if it didn't have some kind of high cognitive capacity. And the humans, in general, respect the boundaries of the dragon's territory. Another clear indication that they understood complex concepts since their physical abilities are so lacking. They can't smell the demarcations. You fucker! Stop ignoring me and don't wander off! Katsuki catches up to him. At this point, they're already inside the village. The humans spare glances at Shoto, but they don't look particularly wary or aggressive. Their expressions are clearly curious. That's interesting. If a new dragon landed on the archipelago, they wouldn't feel so welcomed. Alright, as I was saying, we need to hide you and... Shoto sees one older lady, who must be involved in the settlement's politics from the amount of apples and oranges she has in her basket. Shoto takes a bow before asking the woman, Excuse me, where can I find the leader of this land? The woman looks confused at him. You mean Mitsuki? Sorry, Granny. This one got hit in the head way too many times. Come on, Happy. I'll take you to Mom. Bakugo interjects and tries pushing Shoto away from the old lady. Here, dearie, have a nice day. The woman smiles at him, without one single tooth in her mouth. Maybe tactile? Like Izuku's? And puts an apple in his hand. Shoto looks bewildered at the apples as Bakugo pushes him by the shoulder away from the woman. That terribly kind of her to share her loot with someone she doesn't even know. A foreigner in her land. You damn useless lizard. I'm going to take you to see the old hag. But if you spout bullshit, I'm going to let her behead you in the damn village hall. I'm done trying to protect shitty lizards from their own idiocies. So your mother really is the leader, Shoto says, unaffected by the human's threats. She's the Earl, the strongest warrior in the village. The Viking explains. The dragon just nods and starts eating his apple. It's pretty delicious. Humans know their way around fruit, apparently. The human village is very interesting. Their nests are in the middle of the way, not tucked away in caves like dragons, so they had to build the most intricate wood and mud to cover them. They were neat nests in several shapes, sizes, and colors, quite distinguished from dragons' caves that are usually very similar, with the slight depth variations depending on family size. "We're here," Bakugo announces when they arrive at one particularly big building. Big double doors led to a huge hall. There are some long tables, completely empty at the moment, and at the end of the room, a circle of chairs around a pit of fire where people are sitting. It's easy to recognize who must be Bakugo's mother, the ear, for there's a woman in a chair that's bigger than the others in the room. She always has a posture that demands respect and attention, and has most dragon teeth around her neck. "Shit, we got here in a bad time," Bakugo whispers, hiding in the shadows, trying not to be seen by his mother. "Why?" Shoto asks unbothered, as he keeps away, walking towards her, but Bakugo's arm on his chest prevents him. "The fuckers sitting with her. They're not from this village. They're from other smaller villages around here," he whispers. Oh, so not only will Shoto be introduced to a human leader, he has the unique chance of watching human leaders debate? The dragon gets quiet after that, and accompanies the blonde to get closer through the shadows to not disturb the meeting. "We need your help, Mitsuki. If Shigaraki's armies come for us, we won't survive. He has hundreds of men," the older man pleads. "I heard he'll be marching our way once he gets done with the villages on the west," a dark-haired woman says. "I hear you all," Mitsuki interrupts them. "But I'm not gonna gather my army against Shigaraki without an explicit threat. This may be exactly what he's hoping for to justify his actions against our people." "But we can't just sit here and wait until he's in our backyard," the first man argues. "We won't," Mitsuki retorts. "Shigaraki is ambitious, but he isn't crazy. He can't fight us in the village of marshals if we're united. I'll send a rider to talk to them. We'll organize a festival, food, games, the whole thing, just to show that Shigaraki's strength of our allies." "It'll take a lot to prepare a whole festival in such a short notice," the dark-haired woman says, shaking her head. "It'll take much more to prepare for war, and it'll be an even greater toll on our resources if we lost it. The festival is our best alternative. Nezawa and the others are already organizing everything. Yes, you all join them so we can debate what you can spare for it." After that, the leaders paid their respects to Mitsuki and left the hall. "I hope you learned something, brat," the blonde woman says as soon as they're alone. Bakugo clicks his tongue. "I learned that our enemies are afraid of parties." Dragon and boy get closer to the powerful woman. "Our enemies are afraid of bonds. None of the villages stand a chance alone. But if we're all together, the enemy won't even be brave enough to attack." The woman's red eyes fall into Shota's. "And you are?" "I'm Shota," he answers. He's the representative of Izuku's village. He and some others came to see the developments in the nerd studies. Mitsuki raises an eyebrow and looks from one boy to the other a couple times. "All right," she says wearily. "I came to properly introduce myself to the settlement's leader and say thank you for your grace in welcoming us as guests." Shoto bows properly. "Oh, goodness gracious, aren't you a properly behaved one? Maybe you could teach my bratty son some manners?" Mitsuki says, smiling. "Though I don't think it's working. Sweet Izuku has been around for a while, and Katsuki hasn't learned a thing about being a darling like him." "Why don't you fucking adopt him, then? And shitty Paffy while you're at it." "Oh yeah, because they won't want a crazy old hag as a mother," Katsuki complains. "So those people, they lead their settlements, but ask you for help?" Shoto asks, interrupting the banter. "Exactly. Their villages are too small, and they don't have many warriors," Mitsuki explains. "And to protect them, you're going to spare some of your village's resources." "Yes, it takes a lot of money, food, and drinks to put together a proper festival." "If they can't take proper care of themselves, shouldn't they plead their loyalty to you and accept you as their leader?" Mitsuki shakes her head, smiling. "No, that's not how things work. They have their own way of living. They may not be warriors, but they have their own abilities. One of those villages is pot makers, another is weavers. They should be allowed to live their own way, follow their own rules, and not be afraid because of that. Interesting. Shoto ponders. The human society is much more complex than he expected. Sure, there's a big emotional content to their decision making. He just witnessed, but he doesn't see it as a bad. It makes sense that they protect their kind of emotional undertaking. Yeah, whatever, let's go. We gotta buy shit, Bakugou says, pushing him away from the elder. Shoto lets himself be pushed around by the human for a while, to deep in thought about what means to protect their lifestyles of others to cherish their uniqueness. Humans seem to have a lot of teaching to the dragons. Maybe that's why Izuku feels so drawn to them. Izuku has always been inquisitive and curious. He must have learned so much during his stay in the settlement. Shoto hopes to learn as much as he can in a much shorter time, in order to make his decision about the fate of the humans. Where are we going? The dragon asks after being taken through so many little alleys that he's completely lost. Market. I'm gonna buy food for Deku. And I suppose something for a round face too. Bakugou grumbles. Can't they hunt? Izuku has control over his teeth now. They can't. Too big of a risk of being seen if they go around stealing sheep. Shoto prefers not to say that they are actually seen by some humans. It only means that humans will meet their fate a little bit faster than the other humans around. It doesn't think Bakugou would appreciate this reminder of their impending doom. Hey, Bakugou! Good afternoon. Where is Izuku? A young woman in a small stall filled with flowers asks. Most of the flowers are cut from their original plants, meaning they will wither and rot quickly. Shoto gets a little confused about why the woman is guarding the dying plants. He's with one of the friends who came to our village for a visit. Bakugou grumbles. Oh, that's great! He did mention that he missed his friends and family last time he came to say hi. The woman says happily. I take you are one of his visiting friends? She asks, looking at Shoto. Yes, I'm here to understand your society. Shoto answers. Oh, that's interesting. If there's anything I can help with, don't be embarrassed to ask, the woman says with a kind smile. Yeah, whatever, green thumb. We gotta. Bakugou tries pushing them away from her, but Shoto stands his ground. Actually, why are you guarding these plants? Guarding them? I'm smelling them. I'm offering flowers here in the market. People come for them? Shoto asks, confused. Why? They taste awful. It's not for eating, silly. The woman laughs. It's decorations. People get them to make their lives prettier. Oh, like shells. Shoto nods. But flowers rot. Then we throw them away and get new ones, the woman explained, shrugging. That doesn't sound very appealing. Maybe for some people it isn't, but others don't mind. They just like how pretty they are while they last. So there's a personal preference component at play. Shoto says, deep in thought. Don't you mind that people don't care for your dying plants? The woman laughs again. No, it's all right to like different things. But I'll tell you what, before you decide you don't care about them, take this, she says, offering a white flower to the dragon. Shoto looks at the flower confused. What? Why? The woman shrugs with a smile on her face. Just to see how you like it. If you find you like flowers, come back and I'll give you more. That's enough shitty flowers, let's go. Bakugou pushes him away as Shoto looks dazed at the white flower. It really is very pretty. Human trades food and other important goods, with her just having beautiful things around them. And no one tells her she shouldn't be trading something more useful. They're happy to support her choice of offering flowers. Give me 2 lambs and 1 beef. Bakugou takes Shoto off his musings. Oh, and a mushroom one too. What are those? The dragon asks, looking at the weirdly shaped item. They smell like food, but they don't look much like it. Oh, you've never had pies, young man? The old human male in the stand asks, confused. Nah, he's from the same village as Izuku. They don't have much there. Katsuki explains, rolling his eyes. We can't leave that like that. Here, try this. The old man cuts down a piece of said pie and offers it to Shoto. The dragon looks at it skeptically. It doesn't look like any food that he's ever seen, but he can't deny that the smell is enticing. At first bite, though, all his doubt vanished. This is certainly food. The best food he's ever tried. Ha! I see you like it. Here, have another piece of the chicken one. The man gives him another piece of the pie, and Shoto eats it ravenously. It's brilliant. Whoever said humans don't have magic certainly never tried pies before. There are so many flavors. Shoto tries lamb, chicken, mushroom, beef. The old man talks at length about seasoning and crust, and Shoto tries to absorb every bit of information to take it back to the archipelago. So the flour must be milled. How do you mill it? I buy from the millers, just like I buy from the butter from Granny Takayani, and my dry herbs coming from the Wandering Caven that comes around from time to time. It takes a whole village to make a good pie. And who gathers the mushrooms? God damn it! Enough with the goddamn questions, let's go! Bakugou yells, pushing him away. What the fuck is wrong with you? Damn, I thought the damn nerd was bad. You're even worse. I need to ask questions, Bakugou. I need to understand the situation clearly before making my decisions about the fate of this settlement. Shoto explains. Oh, and who gathers the shitty shrooms is gonna make a difference in your decisions? Bakugou stops pushing him to face the dragon. It may. I don't know. I need all the information I could get to make a fair and appropriate judgment. Ain't you the fucking elder? Don't you rule over those other idiots? Yes, I do. Then do whatever the fuck you want. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't have to have reasoning. All you need to do is grow some balls and say what you want to do. Katsuki yells, exasperated. Shoto rolls his eyes. No wonder your mother thinks you're a bad princess. What, you... Katsuki yells, pulling at his hair as he steps away from Shoto. The human takes a couple of deep breaths before coming back to face the dragon with really intense eyes. You know what? You may be wishy-washy coward about this, but I'm not. I'm not going to let you hurt my people or my friends. You come to rage my village, I'll personally hunt you down. You threaten Deku, I'll destroy you and every fucker who gets in my way, you understand? You think Izuku is one of your own? Shoto says, unbothered. I don't think. I know. Deku will be by my side for as long as he wants. And anyone who tries to force him to do anything he doesn't want will have to face me. Bakugou turns around and leaves after that, his hands shaking in barely contained rage. Humans are quite unique beings, and they have very interesting societies. The dragon society seems so... It seems like what's it called? A dystopian. Yeah, that's what it is. The whole, oh, you can't show your emotions, you gotta control. It seems so dystopian. It seems so... Okay, so there's some aspects of it that are really cool, and then there's other aspects where it's that's very, iffy. Which, let's be honest, that's society in a whole, so great rating there. But, no, yeah, it's very interesting. This chapter was a really interesting chapter, especially to sit here and read it. I think I was able to get through most of it without, fucking up. Thank you, Lisp, and thank you, my reading abilities for not failing me today. Have I mentioned that English isn't my first language? I know I get a lot of people who are like, what? English isn't my first language. And my native language, I'm even shittier at reading in my native language, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm shittier at writing and reading in my native language. I'm also shittier at speaking in my native language because my Lisp is mainly targeted in certain syllables and sounds that are made a lot in my native language. So basically I'm fucked. No, but English isn't my first language. This chapter was easy to read though. I like this chapter. This chapter was very interesting, and I just love how they keep referring to Bakugou as a princess. Because, you know what? That is what it is. It is what it is. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep. Drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to the Discord server and my socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.